Yeah. A3, what up?
Good. What's up, y'all? Perks of Fitness again, episode 6. I'm here with A1, the Chosen One. Introduce yourself, brother.
It's good, y'all. I'm A1 the Chozen. I'm an artist from Long Island, Bayshore. I do hip hop music, kind of dibble and dabble in other genres, but really hip hop. That's it.
Hold on. Hold on, that ain't work. I ain't gonna problem. I was choking on my pizza.
Well,
No, not that. I'm gonna choke on my pizza because I was gonna say something. But I was like, nah, let me not do that.
cut.
What's up, y'all? Slow Perks here. Perks of Fitness, episode 5. Special guest today, A1 the Chosen.
A1.
Introduce yourself, brother.
Yeah, it was good, man. I was born Lamel Small, but they call me A1 the Chosen. I'm a hip hop artist. I'm from Bayshore, Long Island. That's it.
Now, why hip hop? Why hip hop? Of all genres. What made you think that was your lane? Or when did you realize that was your lane?
For me, it really started as a kid. Like, I was born into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, my family is all, in the industry or, have some part in the industry or something. So it was something I was born into. And it wasn't really even like, it was just more of a music thing. Like, it was just more of like, I loved R&B. I loved even different genres of music. I just really love music. But what really introduced me to hip hop was, one of my older cousins was like he was like, in my eyes, he was like the greatest MC ever. You know what I'm saying?
Who's your older cousin?
His name is D, but he go by Mr. Rated R. You know what I'm saying? AKA Big Living. He got a couple AKAs, but he's the one that like really like when I started hearing him rap, it like I was infatuated with words. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too, is I've always been infatuated with wordplay and, words people use in their rhymes and stuff. So that always like gravitated toward me. So that was like one of the things where it's like,
And your cousin, obviously, I was know him in person, so now you've seen that up in front.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Which
probably
could
like
be a different experience, right?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I have influences, that's in the industry, but that was like the one that gravitated because that's my cousin, and I'm seeing him live. I'm seeing him, writing his rhymes or letting us hear his rhymes back or whatever. So it was just like a different feeling to see it in person. You know what I'm saying?
So what artists in the industry influence you?
I have a bunch of influences. I listen to so many. I'm just such a hip hop fan where, but if I had to, break down my list.
Give me like 3 artists that influence you probably the most.
I got to throw on my guy Jadakiss, like the Locks, Jadakiss. I don't know, they just did something different when I hear their music, like the bars, the way they control their crowd, you know what I'm saying, like it's just different. Also, too, and kind of in the same conversation with DMX is a big part. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the RP to the dog. That was my nigga. You know what I mean? And I got like, it's so many people. I don't want to leave people out, but there's just so many people. Like, from the Biggies to the obviously the Pacs, the Jays, Nas. Like,
were you more of a Biggie or Pac man?
It's weird because
I'm not even. Let me not even say fan, but when they always do like the ratings, who would you put above who? I like to ask people.
Yeah, I know.
I come to realize there's not a lot of pop fans and Biggie fans. Like if I do ask them, when we're talking about like the greatest and stuff, I realize that like you don't got. I wasn't a Biggie fan. I'm be honest with you. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't a fan of Biggie. Because I have artists I'm a fan of in this
Gotcha.
day's era. I was never a fan of Biggie. I wasn't alive to listen to Biggie and Pac. You know what I'm saying, like that. I was very young.
Yeah.
But going back and listening, I realized that I became a fan of Pac.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I always had Pac number one. That's
Okay.
just my personal opinion.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I realized that a lot of people, when I do ask them out of curiosity, that they're neither a fan of Biggie or Pac. Those like I really didn't listen to them. You only heard what you heard, what was being played on radios and out there, but you never tapped in. You know what I'm saying? So were you a fan of either one?
I was a big fan of both, and that's where like I draw a conflict with that question, because my thing was with when I listen to Biggie, I feel like he's a rapper's rapper. So when you hear Biggie, you know, you get intrigued by his wordplay, his delivery, the way he, you know, commands your attention on the mic. He was just different. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just cut from a different cloth. You know, knowing the fact that he used to go in the booth and not even write any of the stuff that he's going in the booth with, like that. He's a rapper's rapper. You feel me? So I feel like as a rapper, like I understand why people would put him as the GOAT and put him as, you know. But when you listen to Pac, and this is my love for Pac is. My love for Pac is, not like comparing them, saying one better than the other, but like with Pac, it was like his music is more like it's timeless. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not for really any generation. It's things that he's talking about that's happening now.
Like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
and he's talking to everybody. See, Biggie, like I said, he was a rapper's rapper, but he's talking to people that was from that environment, that time frame, that era. So that's why I understand why there might be some people that might not relate to him the way that, you know, somebody that's from that era would. You know what I'm saying? But the same token, Pac was just, you know, bigger than hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like the messages that he would try to, you know, pass on to his people and to everybody, like it was bigger than hip hop. So that's why, like I said, that debate is like I try to stay out of it because it's just you know what I mean? Like it's
for the love of hip hop.
Yeah, for the love of hip hop. Like my bias, because for my love of hip hop, might be for Biggie. But at the same time, like I said, like I can't belittle like how much I used to listen to Pac and what Pac meant to me in certain records.
I think that's the biggest thing, because I like how you said that. In the hip hop alone, I can see why you say Biggie. But like for me, as a fan of music, there's a lot that plays into being liking somebody. I feel, right? So I'm big on artists that have that is outside the music. You know what I'm saying? Has an impact outside the music. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen, so even Pac being, you know, like an actor and stuff, and you tapped into his movies. You know what I'm saying? You just love how he is as a person and how he carries himself. That was like always a big thing for me. That's why I always loved Pac.
That makes sense.
How is Pac not the great? How is he not the greatest or the most influential?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's where, like I said, the conversation is, because I feel like when you look at him in this era, you're gonna always. I feel like most people are gonna gravitate to a Pac, because in this era, that's what it is. It's like you got a bunch of people like, you know, they want to know the artist. They want to see the personality of the artist. They want to see them not just doing one thing. They want to see them out in movies and, you know, commercial, whatever. Like they want to see. So I think in that era, it makes more sense. But like I said, when you look at somebody like Biggie, it's kind of like, you know, he was just a rapper's rapper. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I use that term because it's like when you go back and, you know, you hear the words that he used and hear the way that he formulate and with flows and everything, it just does something different. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I understand both. Both. Like it's one of those things where it's like I understand people that say Biggie's the greatest. I understand people that say Pac is the greatest. You know what I mean? Like,
who's your greatest? Who's your number one?
Who's my number one?
Yeah, your personal number one.
See, with me, it's I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't even like doing this, but for me personally, I gotta go big because I'm hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Music,
I'm
yeah.
hip hop, and that's what that's what I know. That's what I do. So it's kind of like, it's for me. It's if it's just talking about just strictly hip hop, I gotta go Big.
Big. Okay, I'm gonna let that one slide. I'm good with that.
I saw you give me a little shout out. Like, I don't know, man.
It's not, like it's not against Big at all. But personally, for me, anytime I hear that, and I guess this is it's not about your opinion.
Yeah.
But I guess it just shows Pac's impact, right? Because it makes me think ah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what?
But that's the thing.
It's just
But that's the thing that I was kind of trying to break down too, is I feel like it is an era thing, because I grew up listening to them. Like I really grew up,
I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really grew up listening. So I with Biggie, it's he impacted hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I understand everybody's opinion on Pac, and everything is facts with that. But I feel like people don't understand the impact that Biggie had on hip hop. The fact that he only dropped 2 albums, and he impacted the game the way he did. I think that should go to show you, whoever you think is the greatest rapper would consider probably biggest, or they at least listen to, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of people always say too, how can you be considered the best with only 2 albums?
Yeah, but to me it's
long enough.
To me that's what it is though. It's the impact. Sometimes you could drop 20 albums, but if you're not impacting, if people not grabbing, you know what I'm saying? And this is more than just 2 albums. It's a body of work. So yeah, we got 2 albums, but he got features. He got, so many other things that he impacted the game with. So when you think about Biggie, you really think about the impact on hip hop itself, what he did for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you're a fan just musically, period, then yeah, you're gonna say Pac, because I feel like Pac speaks to any genre, any race, any whatever. But I feel like if you're a fan of hip hop and what hip hop was in that era, and coming from the streets or poverty or wherever you're from, and you listen to somebody like Big, and you see where Big's, where he came from and what he was, and to see what he did with hip hop, and his birthday just passed, and it's shut down Brooklyn and celebrating them, and they had the Metro cars with his face. That just goes to show you that's impactful. You know what I'm saying? It's impactful. This nigga just fresh out of Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying?
Are you tapped into any artists now in this day generation?
I try to tap. My thing is, I try to be fair. I don't want to be one of those guys, because there was a time frame where I couldn't get past a certain era. So it's yo, if you're not spitting Nas, Hov, Big J, whoever, I don't want to hear you. You feel me? It was like that for a while, but then at the same time, it's kind of everything ain't all about for me, it was always about the lyrics and things like that. But to me, I started listening through different ears, and that's the thing, is I learned to start listening. I could hear a track now 6 different ways. You know what I mean? So
I just recently saw an interview with the rapper Too Short.
Yeah.
He had put out an interview. I saw he had mentioned how he was listening to Young Thug's. Not for nothing, I'm not a fan of either one. I don't really listen to their music, but he said that he was listening to Young Thug, and he couldn't make out what he was saying. He just didn't understand anything he was saying. He was like, "This shit's terrible." And then he noticed that I forgot what he said, where he was. He was with a bunch of he was in a group with a bunch of people, and they were all like, "Oh, you don't listen to Young? Hey, you not listening to Young Thug?" He said they started playing his music, and they were all rapping to it. He was the only one they know what homeboy was saying. And then he said that then he realized, he was like, whether I like it or not, I realized how valuable it was. He was like, and for any artist coming up nowadays, if you can find a way to hold value, that's gonna take you a long way.
That's
so
a
he
fact.
was like, he always said that, oh, Young Thug, no. And he said, but I realized that I was the only one in that room that didn't know the lyrics. You feel me? And it made me feel out of place.
Yeah.
And I realized how much value Young Thug had. You know what I'm saying? He was like, so it's like, especially nowadays, right? Because from your generation, it's hard to adjust the level that music's on now. But I also feel like that's with a lot of things, not just music.
That's
I feel sports aren't the same anymore.
That's a big fact.
But you gotta learn to adjust to it because you have people that are growing up in these days, era that what music was to us back then is the same to these kids now.
I think the only thing though is, and here's my thing about when I get into that conversation with people, I feel like the only thing about that is you do gotta adjust to times now. You do gotta respect what's going on now, because there's gonna come a time where, 10, 15 years from now, people's gonna be like, who's Young Thug or who's this person? You know what I mean? So it just comes with like I'm seeing it now. You know what I mean? But I think the only difference from like the era that like I grew up in till now is I feel like people don't pay the homage to what came before them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the only difference. It's like you could do what you're doing now.
From artists now or fans now? Who does
both?
You think both?
Both. I think both. Yeah, I think both. I feel like I don't want to make it like broadly everybody. Like there are people that still paying homage. It's still,
but not enough is being.
It's just not. Yeah, it's not the way. You know what I'm saying? Because like even with going back to the whole Biggie thing, and like I understand it, but at the same time, it's kind of like it just goes to show you, in my opinion, to me, like people don't respect what Biggie was. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not about measuring what he is today, because you're not gonna understand it. It's like me going back, to this era and talking like, if we talking like, for instance, like sports, and we saying like, Bob Cousy wasn't all that, or this person wasn't all that.
We never watched them play.
We never watched them. We don't. You know what I'm saying? It's a different era, so you really got to respect that time frame, because in that time frame, it was nobody doing what that person was doing. So it's kind of like, and what's to say that everybody would be doing what they're doing now without that person doing what they did in that era? You know what I'm saying? So that's the part where I feel like, you should appreciate what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? And pay homage to what happened in that time frame. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so when you rap, right? When you're doing your music, do you have anyone in today's age now that influences you with your music? Any artists that you would consider the new generation compared to, you mentioned Jadakiss.
Yeah.
But that's all older generation.
Right, facts.
Anyone in today's age that you might listen to or hear and might, think about that when you're doing your music, or I like the way he did this, or maybe I should try that. Like any artists?
Yeah, to me is all about there's always something out there. You know what I'm saying? Is you could. I feel like a lot of people make the excuse about what they play on the radio and stuff, which is true at times. But at the same time, if you want to find something that you like, you won't find it. You know what I mean? Like there's too many artists out there that are not on the radio that are phenomenal. That, you know what I'm saying? That's like, and it goes even, honestly, for me, it goes even beyond industry wise. Like I said, like my cousin influenced me. So even like, for me, honestly, even just my peers, people that I'm around could influence me just because I'm seeing what they're doing, their hunger, and it's like, damn, kind of like they're from the same area I'm from, and you know what I'm saying? So it's to me, it's it don't even have to even be somebody that's out now that could be an influence, but I try to take everything as an influence, even if it's something that's not to my liking. I'll use that as an influence of, well, if I feel like things should be different, then I should be the one to come in and try to change it. You feel me? So that's the thing. I just try to take from everything and use it as a form of motivation or influential, point to try to better myself.
Have you ever actually seen artists perform, like actually go out on whether it's a concert or tour, and actually seen any artists perform? I have a few that I've seen perform, and a few of them personally, you'll be a little disappointed in.
Yeah.
Like, thought I expected more seeing you in person. And then you got some artists that you might be blown away by. So, is there any artists that you have seen perform that you? Because as an artist, right, you got to think that's probably I don't know because I'm not an artist. I mean, I could. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, hard to, you know what I mean?
I feel you.
But like, as an artist, right? You got to think that probably has to be one of the most biggest things to be able to do, or biggest ability, because now you have people in front of you, and you got to be able to connect. So I could make music and put it out, and anyone could listen to it on their own time. But now you're delivering that music in front of people live. They're watching. So that got to be probably one of the biggest things, right? Maybe the hardest thing to do, perform in front of people.
I feel like I feel like you on point.
You've done it.
Yeah, you on point with that. You on point with that. Let me actually. Could I give you a story?
Yeah, of course.
It's funny because one time this is like when I don't want to say when I first started really recording, but this is when I first really started taking music like really serious. I'm trying to push, and I had bought my music like it was one of my first joints mixtapes that I put out to the public like for everybody to hear. So it was called Back to the Drawing Board, and the productions wasn't like really good at all on that. You know what I'm saying? This is like when I'm still learning about production. I was just a rapper, so I just wanted to get bars, whatever. I wasn't really worried about productions, right? So I bought it to this girl. She was like, coming up, like she's a producer. She was doing some A&R work for, different labels or whatever. So I had ended up getting a meeting with her, and she told me to, bring your top songs, let me hear some, whatever. So I bought her my music, and she's bumping it, she's playing it. Then she stops, and then she's like, honestly, like it was weird because it was like she complimented me but shitted on me at the same time because she was like, yo, the songs are good, the lyrics and everything, but she's like, yo, the productions are horrible. Like that's the first thing she said to me. So I'm like, I'm not an engineer. I don't know. That's not my fault. But it was like she held me accountable for it. So she was like, I don't know. You got anything else? I was like, this is, pretty much it. So she was like, you know what? I want to see what you can do live. That's what she said. She said, I want to see, like, I need to feel your energy. So she started playing beats or whatever for me. And she was like, and she would give me a topic. She wouldn't, no written shit. Nah, I'm going to give you a topic. And she'll give me a topic, and I start going off the top, making, songs off the top. You know what I'm saying? Hooks, everything, bars. And she got so excited about it that she's like, her energy was crazy, bro. Like she's like jumping up. She got on the keyboard, started playing the keyboard to someone. And it was like, after that moment, I feel like she respected me way more because she was like, I'm gonna be honest. She was like, yo, hearing you live, she was like, that changed it for me. Cause she was like, yo, she was like, to try, she was like, you gotta make sure your engineering and everything is on point. But she was like, just hearing you live, she was like, I felt it. And she was like, you want to make me really like get in my bag with the, you know what I mean?
So that's how I feel as a fan of music. That's a big thing to me. Like I said, I done seen a few artists perform, and I was just like,
But to answer your question, I don't want to like not answer your question, but to answer your question though, I did. I haven't really gone to too much, like, performances or whatever. But I went to Summer Jam one year. And there was like a bunch of people on that. Obviously Jada was on there. That was like
Summer Jam's the one event where you gonna get
right, exactly. So it was like Kiss was there, Mary, Hov ended up coming out. Jeezy was there, Khaled, like that shit was crazy, bro. And that was it for me because it was like so many artists that I was like, oh my God. I just saw, and being in the crowd and seeing the way they controlled the crowd, seeing the way the crowd reacted and responded to them, that was a game changer for me.
It's a game changer, I always wanted that because I've been to a few. I'm a big I'm gonna put this out there. I don't know if y'all know whatever, but Chris Brown's my favorite artist.
Okay.
That's just like hands down. Artist, music, everything. Chris Brown. Big Chris Brown fan. Yeah, that one rack I got my that's a shout out to Ray's Racks, by the way. And give him a shout out. My custom one rack. My kid's mother bought it for me. For Christmas one year. But Shelter Raised Racks, because he made it. It's custom. It's a Chris Brown one rack. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but behind that one
I gotta look
bottle
at it again. I was looking at the bottle. That's
it's legit like a Chris Brown. It got his Black Pyramid logo and actually got LED lights. Like, I'm a real big Chris Brown fan.
Okay.
Because I love Chris Brown just in general as a person, the music. Yeah. Man, I'm not even gonna go like there's probably not one Chris Brown song that I may not know. Like, you can play any Chris Brown song, I know that song. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. But it's mostly what the music does for me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I hear certain songs, especially during time periods, you know, you go through shit in life. And you go through shit in life, and then boom, this person dropped this. It's like, boom, that's the perfect song for me.
That's spot on. That's spot on. I love my fault. I don't want to interrupt.
Go.
I love that you said that too, because I feel like with a lot of things too, is like, I always say, like, music is like the soundtrack to your life. So it's like whenever you go through like the breakup, or you know, this person passed away, or and you remember what song is playing during that era, because you're like, I remember this happened, because so you relate times to, you know what I'm saying?
I'm an Aquarius. I'm an emotional ass nigga.
Son's an Aquarius.
I'm an emotional ass nigga.
My son's
may not show, but I'm emotional. You feel me? So sometimes, like, you know, I can listen to a song and it might just hit. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, there's been a lot of that songs. And then also too, just when you appreciate talent, you know, someone got talent, like, it's like, to me, like, the way he could dance and sing and all these things that we wish we could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's like, to me, that's just an amazing thing. But like, I love music, but like, so for me, Chris Brown's like, that's my favorite, because I just love music, just that, like, what he could do. And I went to his tour. I went to two of his tours for 2 albums he dropped. Plan on going on the new tour he got going on right now with Lil Baby. But seeing him live, you know what I'm saying, like, every expectation was met. To me, it was an amazing experience. And that even if you're not a fan of someone, to go and see that person perform, I think is good, especially if you're an artist. You know what I'm saying? Because you realize how important that shit is. When you see all the fans, how many people tapped in, and just the reaction is crazy. Shout out to Tory Lanez. I'm gonna tell you, that's another one. See, and that's why I mentioned about the performance. I went to see Tory Lanez perform at I believe it was called Mixed Lounge back in the day. I don't think it's the same anymore. But Tory Lanez was big, I guess, but wasn't as big as he is now. You feel me? So they had got him to come local. I don't know what town that's in. Is that Outback? I don't know. It's around this area. And I was like, yo, Tory Lanez, I didn't really know too much about him. I knew he had like one hit song, which all over the radio. So we went. I was there more for the vibe. We went. He came on, performed 2 songs. I was like, yo, I'm out. I was like, what? You coming 2 songs? You out? Not only that, it wasn't even a crazy performance. Yeah. So I was thrown off by that. I was just like, yo, like, what's the point? Because I know ticket prices are more because you're here. You know what I'm saying? Everything's top dollar because you're here. Yeah. So show why that shit should be top dollar. Like, so I was a little thrown off. But now we're talking years later, I go to Chris Brown's last tour for the last album he got, the Indigo tour, and he had Tory Lanez on it. And I'll tell you, bro, I got videos. Tory Lanez, bro, shout out to Tory Lanez, because the energy he had to all the people that was there, bro, was amazing. And I was like, maybe the circumstances of at the time he was in, maybe, you know, he couldn't give his all. I get it. And it's a local spot. I know they do that 24/7. Like, it's probably getting repetitive. I get it. But on that tour specifically, bro, that changed the way I looked at artists. I ain't gonna lie. That changed the way I looked at artists, because I was like, wow. Then I got more tapped into his music through that tour. I was like, so I love Tory Lanez. I'm a Tory Lanez fan. But I just thought that was a big thing. And like, same with Chris Brown's amazing. I went to see French Montana perform. I felt like his energy was there. I think that's just a big thing. You know what I'm saying? It is. You guys had events. You and A3 had events. You performed in front of people. So you know the importance of having to grab the attention of that crowd and then keep them entertained, right? Yeah. Not for nothing too. I know I probably sound like a groupie, but I don't give a fuck. I was literally just watching, literally yesterday on my phone because it popped up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was on my phone watching Chris Brown's performance at Rolling Loud, the last Rolling Loud. Now I ain't gonna front, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I seen clips of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. It was like a 30-minute video of his whole performance. And I was sitting there watching. I'm studying every movement on the. You know what I'm saying? And I was just so intrigued.
Yeah.
Like, this is why this is my favorite artist. So I don't know. That's just personally as a fan of music.
Yo, listen though, but that's the thing is like.
So I want to hear from an artist's point of view. Like, how important is that part?
That is very important to me.
Like
that's to me that's very important. Like, cause to me that just really shows what kind of art, like a real artist. Like, there's a lot of guys, and exactly going back to what you were saying. There's a lot of guys that, you know what. Everything is a process. Like, you can go in the you could write the music, you could create it, you can go in the studio, you can even be recording is a whole nother process. You know what I mean? So you could be good at all those things, but it's like you always hear people like when they talk about, you know, hip hop artists, they talk about singers, they talk about all these artists. When they see them live, there's like, oh shit, it sounds exactly like the record.
Yeah, yes.
And to me, that's what makes people really respect what you said too. Is like, I don't need to be a fan of you to really respect what you do. So don't get me wrong. There's Chris Brown songs that I like. Like, I won't consider myself a fan. But I fucks with what he do. But as far as like just appreciating what he does and what he can do, yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, I fully understand why. Like, she should have fans. He should. You know what I mean? Like, the way he does his stuff. Like, to me, that's important as an artist to understand. Like, going back to what you said with the whole value thing, like, I understand why he's very valuable. You know what I mean? So to me, yeah, that is a big part of it, and that's for me where I gain a lot of fans, because I gain a lot of people through live performances and people, you know what I'm saying, understanding, you know, who I am and what I am. You know what I'm saying? Is people could hear you on wax or whatever, and that's one thing, but when they actually come across you and actually feel your energy, it's like, it's real. You know what I mean?
How many times have you performed, if you don't mind me asking? Around like a good amount, like a lot?
It's been a good amount. Yeah, it's been a good amount, because like, you know, even just whether it's like an actual show or it's just, you know, being in a environment where it's just a setting where you're performing and gravitating, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I performed a lot, you know what I'm saying?
People come to see you.
Yeah.
That gotta be, you know, like, wow, these people are coming to see me.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is I take that serious. Like, to me, I don't want people to feel like, he's just, you know what I mean? Like,
not for nothing, and no disrespect, right?
Yeah.
But even if they're not coming to see you, they're just going because maybe they know of another artist that's there. And then they finally do see you. They're like, oh, shit.
You want to make a lasting impression. You want to make that lasting impression. And that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
How was the first time you performed? For you? Nervousness and all that.
It's crazy because the first...
What was that experience?
That's a funny... Like, with that, it's funny because the first time I performed wasn't even, like, hip-hop. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, well... I actually used to play the bass guitar. This is something that people don't really know. Yeah, people don't really know this.
Talk about it.
But my grandmother, you know, she's gone now. You know, God rest her soul. But she used to sing. She used to sing in the church, and you know, that's where a lot of like my music background comes from too. Is my grandparents? They was musicians. You know, so she used to sing in the church. So she actually bought me a bass guitar, and I didn't know nothing. I didn't really even have an interest to play it, but it was just like, at the time it was like, yo, it's a gift from my grandmother. You know what I mean? Like, so my pops ended up teaching me how to play it, and I got good enough to where, like, you know, actually the first performance was for the church. Like, she was like, yo, you know, I want you to play this song for the church. So I got up there, and I was nervous as hell because I might have been like,
how old were you?
10, 11.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I got up there, and like I said, I don't consider myself a bass player, but it was like, I got up there, and it's a whole, you know, it was like a school full of people. It was like in the auditorium. So I'm playing the bass, and I'm just like, the thing about it was, though, is it taught me to like focus in on what I'm doing and not worry about what people perceiving it. And, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I know, you know what I mean? Like I put in the time, I know what I'm doing on the, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of taught me to kind of zone out. And then when I
As
took
if they're not there.
Exactly. So when I started actually doing other things, it didn't feel foreign to me. Like by the time when I probably first did my first rap, like hip hop performance, it was probably maybe middle school. Like middle school.
You was probably already locked in.
Yeah, I was already locked in. So it was like
your first performance in middle school?
It's probably like 7th grade.
7th grade? Where did you perform?
At the middle school, at the
at the middle school.
Yeah, I was in the middle school. So it was nerves.
Wait, what year you graduated?
I graduated 06.
06? Okay. I went to Bishop too. Graduated 2011 though.
Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't come across. Yeah, you was out when I came in. I came in 07.
Yeah. I was out. Yeah,
07,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was cool because the only thing though with me is never about. I don't really start feeling like nervous. What happens with me is I get anxious. That's what happens.
Yeah, with me. And that's normal.
So that's the one thing I had to learn to control is like I would get in front of a crowd and I wouldn't get nervous. I would get too anxious. So sometimes that would, make me fumble or whatever because I'm too anxious. I'm like,
have you ever done that in a performance? Like
yeah, but I have. But the best thing they always tell you is that the crowd won't know you mess up unless you let them know you messed up. Okay. So that's the one thing I learned.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's the one thing I learned is like if you fumble over a word, you keep going because most of the time people are just going with the flow of things. So if you know what I mean, if you jump over a word or whatever, and then you like, oh damn, I messed. Then they're gonna know you messed up. If you just keep going, they're gonna go with the flow of it. You know what I mean? They might not even catch it. So to me, that's the one thing I learned is like. There's been times where I've been on stage and forgotten my words. I'm like, shit. Yeah. I don't remember what I wrote here, but I'll just and this is like a luxury.
Yeah, how do you do it? What do you do?
I go off the top, bro.
Go off the top.
I just go off the top.
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But it's a luxury.
I don't even think A3 can do that. Go off the top.
I think A3 can do it. Look, A3 can do it. A3 can do it. Listen. Can you
go off the top, A3?
Yeah, man. Do the interview, man.
Yeah, look, I'll say, but look. Even going back to A3, man, I'm gonna just tell you this. You know what I mean? I'm not, saying this because it's a bias. That's the bro, but that's the one thing that I really respect and love about him is he's a performer. So I'll bet my last dollar that if he goes on the stage and he fumbles or whatever, nobody would know it because he's going to recover and he's going to do whether he has to freestyle, whether he has to. Whatever he's gonna call that audible and make a change. So that's the one thing why I respect guys like A3 is because that just goes to show you what they're made of. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's not gonna go accordingly every single time. You gotta know how to adjust. You know what I mean?
We're gonna get A3 in here in a little bit. You guys have a project together, correct?
Facts.
What's the name of your project?
It's called Progression is Automatic.
And that's your newest project,
That's the newest project. That's the
so
latest
we're
project.
We're going to get tapped into that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Hold on, A3. Don't worry, Mike. Hey, I still want to... I guess we're going to get through it. So, I want to tap into a little more of your work.
Okay.
Right? So...
Like personally, you mean?
Yeah, personal, your music and stuff. What was your first project? Would you consider your first project? Whether it was like an album, EP, anything. Like, what was your first project?
All right, my first actual official project. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My first official project that I've ever, done on wax. It was called The People's
Wax. Sorry, not to cut you off. What is wax? For anyone
it's like on tape. Like it's what you record.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like what you have recorded and it's on like a CD or whatever.
Okay.
Tape, whatever.
Okay.
But the first thing that I ever recorded as far as a mixtape of any sort, like a body of work.
Mm-hmm. Body of work, yeah.
Is it was called The People's Chant. And it's funny because it dropped actually right around the time Paul Wall dropped, but it wasn't even had nothing to do with that. But it was like Paul Wall had dropped it and people was like, oh, but it was called The People's Chant. And it was in 2005. That's when I dropped that. 2005. And that was the first thing I really recorded, like a whole body of work. And it started at it was a dude I used to record with, Jay Mulatto. I don't know if you know, because you're from the town, but
Jay Mulatto don't sound familiar to me, but shout out to Jay Mulatto.
Yeah, so it was with Jay Mulatto, and he had a whole studio in his basement. You know what I'm saying? And I've never even been in the studio. Like, this was like, other than, I've been in the studio, but I've never been in the studio as an artist.
Okay.
So this is like the first time.
Yes. For you.
Yeah, for me, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And he had the real deal studio.
Yeah.
So that was my first actual time actually recording music. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the first one that I actually credit, because it was like the first one that I was like really trying to piece together, because that was just like a bunch of compilation of music. The People's Champ. That was like a compilation of everything that I recorded, put together. The Back to the Drawing Board, which dropped in 2009. That was probably the first one I really credit, because that was the first one I really like recorded, kind of like pieced together. And
so People's Champ was stuff you already had previously.
Yeah,
that you was just like
that was just more, like I said, like it was just getting my feet wet with it. Like, I never even record. I've been rapping at that point for a few years now.
Yeah.
I've never actually recorded anything. So it was just kind of like just being able to record. Like, people don't even understand how hard recording is. You know what I mean? So that was just my introduction of recording and learning my voice and learning how to like deliver and everything.
Yeah.
That was, so that's what that was. But I feel like Back to the Drawing Board was like the first one where I was like really trying to start putting everything together from what I learned from before. So
when you're working on your own, right, do you have a technique to how you put a song together? Like, as far as like the verses and then the hooks, and like, do you have like a technique that you stick by to create songs? Or
to me it's
kind of like whatever.
For me, it depends on the song. It depends on the song. It depends on the energy of the song. Like, to me, it's very like, it could go both ways. It could be kind of freelance, or it could kind of be like very premeditated depending on the song. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain songs where it's like, I hear a beat and I'm like, all right, I'm just going off this energy because this is what I'm feeling at the moment.
Okay, that's perfect. And like, then, you go based off of the beat, or do you come with the concept first? Like, shit.
But that's the thing. It depends. Because like I said, it could be that, or it could be like, I could be going into already knowing like, nah, I need this. This is what I'm aiming for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it really depends on the song. You know what I mean? Like, it goes by the song for me. It goes by the song. Like, it could be a feeling, or it could just be, you know what, this is what I came up with in my mind, and I gotta, make points, or I gotta make this point, or I gotta make sure the beat sounds like this, I gotta add this. You know what I'm saying? So it could be very calculated. It could just be what I'm feeling at the moment.
How often do you work? Like, do you find yourself, shout out to A3, right? He tells me he makes sure he writes a verse a day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that something that you do, or, do you find that you work every day? A little bit of something?
I feel like as an artist, I feel like you got to keep your mind sharp, because I feel like it's like a lot of times it don't even have to be for a song. You just be like, I could just be out and about and some lyrics come to my head like, oh, I like that word scheme. Or I just thought, like, I'll see something and be like, oh, that's a crazy thought. Because a lot of times it's like, when you're an artist too, it's like painting the picture with words, but a lot of times it's like, I need the vision to be able to paint that picture. So it's like, I need to be able to see what's ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? But that's the big part about it is, I'll take everyday life and everyday things that I'm coming across the scene, and you know what I mean, incorporate it with my music. So it could be something that me and you are talking about now that I'll add into a bar just to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just like when you're an artist, your mind just never stops working. So it's like, you never really stop working realistically. Like, you always, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's important. I think that's important. Like, if you were to give a message to any upcoming artists, or not even just upcoming artists, people that just, doing anything for themselves in life, right, is always continue working. Consistency, right? It's probably one of the biggest things. I realized that with Perks of Fitness is, it could be a struggle sometimes, but definitely one of the most important things. And it probably sounds cliche, because everyone always says, you gotta stay consistent. Like, sounds cliche, but in all reality, it's real.
It's a fact.
When you got something going for yourself, like, it is real. consistency is, even if you find yourself in a slump, right? One little post can change everything. You know what I'm saying? Like your business or whatever you're doing could not, it could be, what's the word for it, stagnant, right? At a point where it's like you're not progressing. Right? Shout out to A3 again. All about progression.
All about progressing, baby.
If you're not progressing, right? But maybe you putting out one little thing could change it. You could change the perspective of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing a little something every day, I think that's a big thing. But consistency is it's a real big thing. I'm learning that now.
With everything you do.
With everything you do. Yeah, with everything. That's why I said, even whether it's being an artist or just anything you got going on, just in general in life. What are other bodies of work you have?
Well, I did like I said, I did the People's Chant 05, 09. I did the Back to the Drawing Board, which that's when I started really trying to piece everything together. I did an unreleased album. It's called The Purple Street Bully. That was just on my gritty. That dropped like right after. You know what I'm saying? But I say The Purple Street Bully because where I live in Bayshore, I'm from is Ross and Purple. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's from Bayshore, they know the area or whatever. So I dropped that one. I never really actually released it, but I have that one
that's in
the archive. Yeah,
it's in the archive.
It's in the archive, exactly. I did that, and I did Back to the Drawing Board Part 2. I released that, and that was probably one of my best projects as far as like body of work. Like that was like a very complete project I put together. That was like me kind of coming into like I could really do this, and then I released. During the pandemic, I released Automatic Music. So that was a good one because it was like me coming back because I haven't dropped anything in a while. Just going through trials and tribulations, whatever with life. You know what I'm saying? But this was just like that was the album for me where it was kind of like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? It's no...
But you know what? Those are good, right? Yeah. We look at it as, that's I was going through shit. I wasn't, on my shit. I wasn't producing nothing and stuff, whatever. Yeah. And we look at it as like, that's bad, right? But at the same time, that could also be a benefit, right? Yeah. Because it's like, let them miss you.
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying? Let them miss you for a little bit.
But I think that was a good one too because it was kind of like I don't want to use the word reinvention, but it was just kind of more like I've shout out to A3, but I progressed. I progressed from when y'all heard me from this time or this era. So this was kind of like, all right, this is letting you know what I'm about now, what I got now. So Automatic Music was a big comeback album for me, and then. Like I said, now I got Progression is Automatic collab album with A3. So.
Now for the viewers, right? How can we tap into your music? Like, what options do they have if I wanted to listen to you, or like your YouTube? What other platforms do you have?
Well, I mean, I'm on IG, Facebook, Twitter. Like,
what's your Instagram?
It's A1 the Chozen, / A1 the Chozen. Twitter.com, Instagram. Everything's A1 the Chozen.
Yeah, we could all tap in.
So it's A1 THECHOZEN. And as far as like streaming wise now, everything is on all streaming platforms. So you can go whatever you stream on, whether it's Apple Music, iTunes or Tidal, Spotify, whatever you stream. You can go and put it in A1 the Chozen.
Okay, perfect. Make sure y'all all tap into that.
Right.
So you can hear what my son is about.
All right.
Now your last body of work was with A3.
Yeah.
Right? And that was how long ago? Very recent, right?
Yeah. Just dropped. It just dropped last month. April 8th was the release date. So that's just dropped.
Okay. You know what I mean? So what I would like A3, I would like for you to pull up because I want you guys to talk about that. I want you guys to talk about how you guys came up with the idea of you even working together. Because you knew each other for a while, right?
Facts.
So what came up with the idea of wanting to work together? I want to know like how you guys came up with the name of the project and what the purpose of the project is. And then you guys also had a showing for it, correct?
Yeah.
Album release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about that experience as well. So, A3, can you all about progression. All about progression, man. All about progression.
Hey, what up,
You want some pizza?
No, I'm good.
You want a drink? Some water?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm chilling, man.
So, everybody, this is A3. You know what I'm saying? This is my cameraman right here. I know you used to being behind it, but now you're in front of it.
Both sides of the lenses. I said both sides of the lenses, you know what I mean?
Alright, we gonna try to pronounce it. Alright, so let them know, right? So this is the first time I think I have you in one of our videos, right?
So listen, my name is Alfonso Wilkins III. That's where the A3 came from. People from I grew up in Amityville. They used to call me A around the town, or Al, whatever. And I just titled it A3, so that's my stage name. You know what I'm saying? So I shoot all the footage for Perks of Fitness. He don't really be in the gym, but we record when we record.
Well, the only time you were in the gym is when you recorded me, right?
Damn.
That's false. Anyway, yeah. So we just dropped the project last month, and we just had a listening session at the studio. Unfortunately, you didn't pull up, but so cool.
Damn.
There was a reason for that. Whoa, hold up, though. Hold up. Listen, he can throw all the shit he wants. All right, he can throw all the shit he wants. All about what was it? All about progression with Mickey Facts.
Right.
The video. Right. Was there.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
How many videos have I been there?
Oh.
Let's see. You've been in Progression, All About Progression video. You've been in
What was the one where we shot with the flower shot? Remember?
Oh yeah. I Want You Back.
I Want You Back.
What else? He was in
the one outside the crib. We all met up. Remember we all met up outside the crib.
Inspiration. Right. All right, you got a point, man.
What about that celebrating life too?
It's so many of them I've been to. I'm
sorry, man. I thought you were the bus, man. I saw that shit. I saw him, nigga.
What was the revolution they called it?
Yeah. You was
about progression.
Yeah, he was there. On the I know what you're talking about.
He was there. Chess was there.
Oh, wow.
Anyway. Go ahead,
continue.
So, what's the name of the album you guys put together?
Progression is automatic.
Okay. Who came up with that? Was it something y'all both did? Or was it one person?
What's kind of weird? We both kind of had an idea of it. He ultimately came up with Progression is automatic.
Yeah.
But we thought about collabing both of our things.
Yeah, and he just came up with the name.
Exactly.
And y'all was like, fuck it.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but it was just like, to me, it made so much sense because I feel like, and then like I said, just going back to the project I was just telling you about, Automatic Music. That's what I just dropped before we dropped our joint. And then he dropped All About Progression. So it was kind of like we was talking about it and we was thinking about...
Not to cut you off, just be careful with this, bro. This is real lion skin.
Oh, it's okay.
It's real lion skin.
I got you, cat.
No, I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead, man. Get comfortable, man. My son said, yeah, I came up with all of them.
Yeah, nah, so straight up.
Go ahead.
But straight up, though, it was like, it just made sense because it's like he had a series of, he had All About Progression, All About Progression 2. I just came out with Automatic Music. And those were big projects for us personally, individually. So, when we was talking about even doing the idea, it was kind of like, yeah, we trying to incorporate something that we both. So it just made sense because it was just like, he preaches about progression. And with me, Automatic was something that, that was like an AKA. They called me Mr. Automatic.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother story. But when you talk about, progression and then you talk about what automatic means, and then you kind of combine the two, it just makes sense because it was kind of like what he preaches, what we're both about is like progression is automatic. But
I'm glad you said that because you literally just answered my next question because I was going to ask where did All About Progression come from you, and then where did Automatic come from you.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, yeah. So, well, I mean, I'll let him go in.
So Progression, the first Progression mixtape, if you ever listen to it, very personal. Like I've lost friendships like My ex-girlfriend, we can't communicate after that. I talked about a lot of
Which
personal
one
stuff.
was this?
What?
There's a lot of them. Which one is this?
This song.
No, no. Ex-girlfriends.
First.
A lot of ex-girlfriends.
Oh, this was, I don't want to say her name, man.
Yeah,
Nah,
messy in this interview. God damn.
Nah, so, long story short, music for me is like my journal. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a journal, you know what I'm saying? So anything I write about, I go through it, I gotta make a song about it for some reason. So with that chick, she lost a kid at the time. I cheated on her, we broke up. And I just, I was like, yo, I gotta make a song to this, man. Like, I gotta, release it somewhere. I can't talk to her. She was like my best friend back in the day. So I'm like, damn, I can't talk to nobody. Let me just make a song out of it. So I was like, damn, I got so much stuff that I wrote personally. I'll make it into a project. And then as I'm listening to it, I'm like, yo, it's interesting because all of these are lessons. Every song is a lesson. Maybe there's like one song, the intro, I'm kind of talking a little shit. Yeah. But most of the songs, I'm like, I learned the lesson from everything. So I'm like, I'm gonna just name this All About Progression because that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. So it was really not for audience. It was really for me, but then it turned out to be a project. Mm-hmm. So.
And where can they tap in for your music?
Same thing everywhere. The first project was a mixtape, so I'm gonna eventually put that up. But everything else, All About Progression 2, Chivalry's Alive, all of that's on every platform that you could listen to music.
So I want to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did y'all put this shit together? What was the energy behind this album? You guys were working every day. Like how did that work for y'all? Being in the studio, were you guys sending each other verses back and forth, or because life gets in the way. Sometimes you can't always be, were you guys like sending each other verses? Like, what do you think about this? Or were you guys literally in the studio together putting shit together? How did that work?
We for the most part, we was in the studio for most of it
together, right?
Yeah, but it was times where, like I said, like I couldn't make it, or he could, or we, kind of go, but we kind of already had a game plan of what we wanted to do and what we wanted to hear, whatever. But ultimately, like how the project really came about was like, and I know A from school, like when he moved to Bayshore, we ended up in the class together or whatever. So, we was cool even from that time. But I feel like where we really started clicking. Like I said, we always been pretty good. But I feel like when we started really connecting on the music level, we started really talking about it. And he would tell me like, yo, I really like this video, or I like this song that you made or whatever. And we started talking about collaborations, from then. And finally we actually collaborated on It's All About Progression Part 2. I'm on 2 songs on that. So
what was the name of the 2 songs you was on?
It was Make Change.
Make Change?
Yeah, it was Make Change, and that's also got Kev Light and Giovanni.
Yeah. Make Change. Wow, that's crazy because I actually remember that because I was there. Because I was there. Well, I'll let you actually into it.
He said, "Oh, okay. I saw the light bulb go off. Yeah, you were definitely there."
He was there.
We had the video for that one.
Camera stop. My bad.
No, you good. We got room, right? You have a video for Make Change, right?
We have the video for Make Change, and then we did a collab where it was just me and him. And remember, we had Jamal Gray, a feature too. He was a featured singer on the.
Shout out to Jamal Gray.
Shout out to Jamal.
And shout out to Kev Light as well.
Kev Light, Giovanni. Shout out to
Giovanni.
But so we did that, and I feel like that's what really kind of like, cause that song was probably like. That was a great collab because even people that like my wife, she was like, she has all my music, she heard all my music, and she was like, yeah, that's one of her favorite songs that I've ever done.
This is Make Change we're talking about, right?
No, I'm talking about this one's called Faith.
Faith,
yeah.
Okay, yes.
So this one was like what we're talking about on the song, just the feel, the energy of the song. We actually do it back and forth on the third verse. So that just kind of, that was the song that really showed how well we work together. So it was kind of like the idea kind of popped up like, yo, we should do a whole project together, because this, one track is amazing. Like it can't just end on this one track. Like so that was like the thought process of it was like, yo, this track is amazing.
Which, you know, that happens a lot too with you know, us as fans of music. Sometimes when you even tapping back into the industry, when you hear, you know, certain artists that work together, they may make one song together, and you're like, damn, like. You know what I'm saying? How come they only got one song together?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When it's like, and then maybe they could turn that into a project. Because there's plenty of artists I think of that I'm like, oh, if they did a fucking collab album, that should be insane. You know what I'm saying? But that's good. So y'all had that one track, and then that's when y'all was like, we should just might as well do a whole fucking project.
Kicked it off, bro.
Yeah. I actually want, this is perfect, Make Change. I want to break down that video.
Let's do it.
If you don't mind.
Hell yeah.
You can break down that video.
Right.
You gonna give my man Kev Light some shiny, and you gonna learn this.
Kev Light.
You can break down that video. I ask you a couple questions about that. See how that came to be. Can we get that up and rolling?
Yeah, I'll set it up.
Crippo. So what we looking at here? This is Make Change with you and A3, correct?
It's A3 song, and he featured me, Giovanni, and Kev Light on it.
Giovanni and Kev Light. Once again, shout out to Giovanni, shout out to Kev Light. I think this was actually the first time me meeting you.
Probably, yeah.
First time I met you was in this video.
Right, facts.
Yeah. Where did this video take place? Where did we shoot this?
This was some of it was shot there, but it was all in Bayshore. A lot of it was at Reddington Deli.
Okay.
So
there comes a time when you gotta have a change.
I knew it corn, that's that dollar bill. Head crack, I got a lot to spill. Check, I caught a DB, now I whip it through
this shot is actually at my old apartment, Seattle.
Okay, I used to live in Seattle.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I moved from Seattle to here.
That's no out the league, man. My nigga caught a homie with his homie side. Maps and father got these niggas gunning if the Brody riding. I'm from the force, a different facet though. Always thought it's best to show, switch it up for capital. Chicken wings and rice to feed a family of fuck.
So what was the purpose of this song? What message you want to get through with this one?
Just about, you know, going back to what A3 preaches is progression. The song is called Make Change, so it's pretty much like anything in your life where you feel like you could be doing better at. You know, a lot of us get caught in we're either comfortable at, or we get caught in kind of in a place where it's just kind of like, you know, like it's really just about making change if need be, you know what I'm saying? So that's what this was about. Doing the same stuff, you know, saying you're going to do this and you're not doing that. It's make the change that you need to make.
Reach my goals 'cause I ain't trying to fail.
This is Reddington Deli, by the way.
Yeah, that's Reddington. That's right there.
There goes little light skin.
I'm hot for real and you other rappers can rot in hell. It's the Chozen, no automatic, it's not Lamel. Every year in the final standards, my team is
you gonna let that go, right?
And y'all ain't trying to find what you need to search. Got street credit, so I'm the one that gets reimbursed. The day I'm knocked off the throne, I'm seeing Jesus first. The day you come from my crown, you niggas leaving earth. But if I'm feeling generous, you'll only need a nurse.
How long it took you to put this verse together?
I feel it getting harder.
This
I
took
can't
me
breathe,
probably.
like Eric Garner. Rest in paradise.
It was like one of those where like I sat on it for a little bit because sometimes I'll sit on verses like just to get the feel of you know what I mean, the beat, whatever. But once I started going, it probably took me like maybe like 10 minutes.
Who shot this video?
Eli shot it.
Hold on, can we pause it real quick? Perfect, right there. Why Kev so dramatic, man? Kevin, you know I love you, but I can't watch this without laughing.
You know what? You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. He's dramatic, but at the same time, we put him up to it. We put him up to that.
Whose idea was this?
I feel like who was it? It might have been.
Kevin's
idea. It might have been his.
So next shit y'all put together,
it's a fact. But like I said, I respect that because I feel like it was needed for the song.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's dramatic. He definitely had to add his, you know.
Of course. I love it though. I just had to say, I gotta give him a shout because That shit just that ass just made me. Every time I watch it, it's like
Like, looking out the window.
you do.
Yeah,
Laugh,
you see
man.
me having a good time,
Yeah, I
and
see
this
you in the
man's out here
window.
looking out the window, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
imagine you out having a good time, and the nigga looking at
And
the
he
window,
looking out the
like,
window like,
yeah.
damn.
Yeah, like,
He's sweating.
you can't do that at home. You gotta
Yeah,
go
that's a fact.
right when we having a good ass time. But you know,
That's
hey,
so
shout out to
funny,
Kev
man. Shout out
Love,
to Kev,
man.
man.
Shout out to Kev Light, man. That's
All
my
right,
guy.
go ahead. Hey, we'll run it. Oh man.
I'm tired of the same shit, always working same shift. I just wanna change whips, trips with my main shit. Get about this basement, nigga, I'm gon' make it. I just work and try to stack chips. While most these niggas stay lit, I stay in, writing rhymes, cause I know I'm
shit
fighting
that too.
time. Personal bars.
I remember, yeah, look, Snow on the Ground.
Yeah,
I remember that. That's right on Railroad Road. This is Cemetery on Railroad Road.
Yeah.
Oak something.
Nigga, we ain't the same. Nigga, you want to change. I want to change my zip code so I feel
This is
fly.
a good shoot, though.
I'm trying to see
Very good,
happiness.
definitely.
I'm tired of hiding the pain. I know I gotta stay on track as if I'm just riding the train. Think I'm going insane. I ain't flowing the same. I'm on a different type of time.
Alright,
And
Triple
I
had
think
hair
it's
at
cause
that
of my
time.
age. Think it's cause I'm afraid to be up under that
Parents,
grade.
a minute ago.
I live my life and I ain't make no change.
Hold this real quick, A Triple. So what I realized with A Triple's verses, right? A3, he's big on bars,
Mm-hmm.
right? He likes to plug the bars in. There's a lot of bars you can find in his verses, right? Are you big on the bars or more the messages for you? Because I see your verse was more sending a message. I'm not saying it doesn't send a message, but he used more of the bars to do so. You're more like straightforward with your verses.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You did have a few bars, but I can see like you made references. Like you said, with Gardner and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you're making actual around that time. How long ago was this video again? Was the Gardner
It was just happened. It was probably like maybe a couple of years before that.
Okay, yeah, so you're making your life references and stuff like that. So when you do your verses, do you like try to be like, oh, let me plug some bars in here?
For me, it's always about the bars. Like I like to, I like to get to the point and paint the picture, or whatever. But at the same time, I do like I'm very bar heavy. Like I'm very like I said, I'm very infatuated with words and how I present them and how, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely about the bars. It's definitely about, the flows leading up to, you know what I'm saying? Whatever punchline, whatever point you're trying to get across.
Yeah.
So it's definitely about, it's always about the bars. But yeah, A3 is bar heavy, you know what I'm saying? So
I like also too, the part, when you guys are in the household at the table and stuff. I like the scenery. I don't know how'd you guys just put that together, but the scenery with the Schweppes on the table and you know what I'm saying, like the crowdedness, because that's how it is, you know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it looks like. Even in this scene right here with A Triple on the couch looking depressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look at the bed, the bed's unmade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like the scenery is very important.
Very real, yeah. It gives you a real perspective.
Real, yeah.
It's not because like a lot of the times too, man, is like I feel like when whether we on social media, even like when we amongst each other, sometimes we'll try to paint that picture like everything is all good, and it's really not. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just get caught in a place where it's like, it's fun to have people to pop bottles with and laugh with, but sometimes you need that, like kind of what we doing now, just that having that.
But you know what? That's good too, because if you go back to the part where Kev's looking out the window, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned you're in the back laughing, smiling, and then Kev's depressed looking out the window, right? So that also portrays the image of you never know what someone got going on.
That's a fact.
Because you were there in the same area. You guys, we're all in the same vicinity. You know what I'm saying?
You're not even paying attention.
Yeah, you're laughing, enjoying and then you got someone like Kev looking at the window. You don't know what thoughts is in his head. So I like that as well. Go ahead, A Triple.
I just wanna change before I really go insane. Struggle in this game, damn shame.
I like this. I like that.
Go back, A Triple.
In the same lane. Otherwise, I'ma end up in the same lane.
It's going to show another clip. It's going to show another clip of us at the end. But I like this shot because it just kind of gives you like the feel and the energy of like the song. Like it's like you gotta make change. You know what I mean? And that's like one of the real. I don't know. It was just like the message just all come together with
like
this.
Right there?
Yeah, with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, Kev got dramatic, take his glasses off, but it just made, you know, for the video, like it just made sense. You know what I'm saying?
I like how y'all put that at the end too.
Yeah.
I like that. What else we got on here? What's one of your favorite? What's your favorite video? Do you have like a favorite video from you?
Not really. Like I like the more recent ones that I did that I've been working with A3 on.
Give me one.
I like the recent one that I released. It was a freestyle.
Freestyle.
Yeah, the running freestyle. Where
Freestyle.
I did Far Side Over.
Okay. Can we pull that one up?
Yeah, this was shot by A3 also.
This is shot by A3.
This is shot by A3.
So we get a little look at his camera angles here.
Yeah, I shot this at Ramen Studios, engineered by Box. He's the one that produced the
Shout
album.
out to Ramen Studios. What apartment complex is this?
That's that's off of Main Street. That's like that complex between Main Street and Brentwood Road.
Yes, not the Pines, the one next to it.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
it's right over there.
I used to hang out over there.
Yeah, it's right next to like Stop and Shop over there and all that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I kind of took the hook from it and kind of made it my own.
Okay.
Cause so people that know the song, they're gonna know like, alright, that's, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that same feel, and then I just, you know what I mean? I feel like it was necessary to shoot this like right there in Main Street too, like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, landmarks where people know that's from Bayshore, that know about.
So what was the background for this freestyle? Like what was the message for this one that you wanted to get out?
It just, man, like,
Came from
this is about me. This is about like just being from Bayshore. You know what I'm saying? Being raised in Bayshore, and anybody, you know, that know what, you know, that ain't just start watching me now, like that been following me for the time. Like they know what it is. They know what type of time I'm on. They know what, you know what I mean, what kind of music I get across. So this was like for them too. You know what I mean? And let them know like, yo, man, I've been doing this, man. I'm a vet at this shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take it to another level, and that's what it is, man. Just, you know, get the hometown behind me.
Okay.
Get the show behind me. Shout out to my brother Noble too, man. Noble Payton, that's my bro. That's in the video with me too. I mean,
Shout out to Noble.
yeah, that's my day one. You know what I mean?
I like that little move just to
Yeah, I got
switch it.
something in there. I got something in there.
I switch it up, you know what I'm saying? I like that. And this is A3's camera work.
Absolutely, yes.
Which I really like. I like this, yeah.
Rocking the automatic.
Automatic, shout out to Automatic. We'll tap into Automatic after this.
All right.
Can we get one more? Can we get one more in there?
Well, no, yeah. I'll give you another recent one. We'll do the Kick Push Freestyle. I decided to do this one. It's another one shot by A3.
Okay.
That's Box, the engineer who engineered the whole project. Progression is automatic. Yeah, Box. Shout out to Box.
And this is Ramen Studios.
This is Ramen Studios right here.
Right now, working on your song.
Where is you located?
This is in Queens, Southside, Jamaica, Queens. That's actually where I was born too. I was, you know, born in Queens or whatever.
Okay.
But, you know, it's kind of like hometown for me still too. Try to incorporate, you know.
Yeah, of course. I follow on my Instagram, so like I know PR from working with A-Triple. But I know a lot of artists I see on Instagram have their Ramen Studios.
Good studio. Shout out to PR too.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Box, what up? About to go in real quick.
Let's look at studio.
I'm bringing that track with me, that hustle and crack in me in the basement used to flow. It was feeling like Rap City, Hanson, Malie and Craig, Diego plus Shop Jimmy. Niggas still play Skelly, ain't bringing no cap with me, pulling out like earrings, ain't bringing no backs with me. Off the past few bars, ain't seeing no slack in me. I'm not even trying to flex, just spitting some facts. Really, I could put that on my brother, was handling packs with me. Get back, never sing, no innocent packs with me. Keep open on potential, you amateurs lack plenty. Running on tracks, winning, I'm spitting on tracks, winning, break control. Hit the flow, just try and relax tension. Talk about who the baddest, you one of the last mention. But you talk a lot of shit, but be doing the ass kissing. How? Be like, wow, spit deliver the vow to the beat. I'm elite, my timing is right now.
This is like for me one of those beats, and I feel like I just had to go in on it. Like
Yeah.
it's like a classic, like it just got that feel to it. You know what I mean? This is like a rap.
And then I was gonna see, yeah, so it's just straight rap. Like, yeah. A lot of bars, metaphors. I see it.
I'm appeasing you niggas and dumb down. You dumbfound the way that I shut down. I'm running amok now, my super deluxe style. It's the semi-automatic spitter. Red guard, so to me, you just an average nigga. I'm not the one you want to test, cause I'll embarrass niggas. I'm every reflection, keep the metal like it's magnetism. I tell my peers that I'll be blessed just off the fact I'm living.
I like the flow on this one.
Yeah.
I like the ongoing. I like that. A lot of artists that the ongoing flow.
Or you can hear it swizz around to redefine your physics. I'm living in the house of pain, who wanna pay a visit? Better as shit, I've been winning. I was taught to shoot my shot, y'all like Ben Simmons. They got me going OT like the 10th
Bars.
inning. Y'all keep
Got
talking
the bars, he be fucking with the bars, man.
while I'm big spending. Y'all talking big money while I'm big spending.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I always, you know what I mean? I love just formulating words and expressing myself through the beat, but at the same time, just putting it in a way where it's like digestible to the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Have you ever kind of jumped out your comfort zone to create a song, or that you know, like, oh, this isn't normally me, but I want to try it? Maybe,
yeah,
like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I feel like
what was your what do you call it?
I feel like even, I mean, you can go back to a lot of my songs and like see like there's times where I'll do like something a little different than normal, but I feel like even just with the project with me and A3, I was doing a lot of things that was out of my comfort zone.
Oh, okay.
But it was good because, like I said, it was like I feel like I don't compromise who or what I am as a person or as an artist or anything. But at the same time, it's like I'm expanding everybody's, you know, thoughts on like how I create and my process with this. So it's kind of like I feel like there's the people that know me personally is like they'll hear it and they won't really be surprised, but it's just kind of like, oh, okay. But then there's people that really don't know me that well. They'll hear something and be like, oh, I didn't even realize that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's important though that you got to keep things fresh. Like it's like, you know, you got to keep reinventing yourself, but at the same time not losing yourself while reinventing yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Directed by A3.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're still rolling, but shout out to A3. So really quick, I would like to tap in with Automatic, the background behind Automatic, exactly what Automatic is. So just explain to everybody whatever you got to deliver for that.
All right. Well,
Just,
pretty much A1 is really means like the automatic one. You know what I mean? And obviously A1 has like bunch of different, like it's A1 top of the line, whatever.
Yeah.
But with automatic, where automatic comes from was you know, my it was my peers and really my sister too, because my older sister, she was you know, big on music. She raps herself, whatever. But she started calling me the automatic one because like I was on demand, like I could freestyle, I could come up with hooks, I could do, you know what I'm saying? So that's where it kind of started coming from in the beginning, and that's where the AKA Mr. Automatic came from. But now what I try to present to people, what automatic is to me is, it really just means like the inevitable, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is like, you know, if you you know, put in work, put in time, put in work, put in effort, and whatever you do, whatever it is that you do, that you're passionate about, I feel like as long as you stay the course it's inevitable. It's automatic. Meaning it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if it, you know, I know you do the fitness thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be automatic for you because you know you're relentless. You're constantly working. You're constantly on your game. And it goes with anything you do in life, you know what I mean? And that to me, that's what automatic is. It's like, if I use the best analogy I could use by it is Steph Curry is like, he's the greatest shooter in the world, greatest shooter of all time, greatest shooter we've ever seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, he didn't just get there overnight. He didn't just wake up and just start making, shots. He worked at it, you know what I mean? He worked at it. He conquered his craft. And you could say he's automatic. You feel me? So to me, that's what automatic is.
You know what? That's a perfect analogy because half the time we're watching them games and he put up a shot and you just know it's going in.
You know it's going in.
It's that kind of is like it's automatic.
Exactly.
Right.
That's me.
That's probably the greatest.
That's the best way to look at it, and that's why I feel like when I'm on the mic and people hear me and they hear the confidence, they hear how I assert myself on the track because I've been doing this for a while. I'm confident in what I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like I'm automatic with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You put me in, in front of anybody. You put me on the track with anybody. You put, like, in any setting, bro, I'm going to deliver because I've been working at this for so long. Mm-hmm. That's just what I am. That's just what I do. So it's automatic. You know what I mean?
If you had an opportunity to work with any industry artists, what would be like one artist that you would love to work with? Whether it's a song, you had them featured or you featured on their song or you did a project with, what would be like one artist that you would actually like to sit down and work with? And I mean like, sit down with them, like you're in the studio with them, like you're working together and you're also taking in pointers and everything you're learning from them as an artist. Like what would be like one artist you could sit down with?
I'm very careful with like everything I say, and that's why like sometimes like seem like I'm not really answering the question, but like honestly, I don't want to like single any one art because like it's one of those things you don't even know what experience you're going to get from like for example, like just working with A3, it's like I had expectations working with him, but it over exceeded to a point where it's like I could never sit here and say like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like one of those things like I don't know, I would love to work with so many artists, but it's one of those things where it's like you don't know what somebody else is gonna, who's gonna bring what out of you or who's gonna, you know what I mean? So,
but that's what I'm saying. Is there anyone that you think that would bring something out of you the most? Like anyone that you would say like, nah, this, like I know, like that person would just inspire me like on a whole nother level. If I actually got to sit down in person to work with them, you don't have to answer if you know.
No, I mean, listen,
you know what I mean?
Listen. Like, I feel like I'm more of like I like to go off the unknown. Like I could say I want to work with it, but it's always an unknown. Like I could, at the end of the day, like I said, look, that's what I said. I want to sound like I'm never answering the question, but it's one of those things, bro. Like I just like what I've accomplished so far. Like I love, like I said, working with A3. I work with plenty other like people, producers. Shout out to King Diego, Jimmy Bones. All the people that I've worked with in the past is like those collaborations, working with those people brought out something in me that I didn't even know existed. So at the same time, it's like out of respect, I don't want to just pinpoint because I don't know what you know what I'm saying. I could work with somebody I've never even listened to. Mm-hmm. Like you could, like for instance, bring up a Chris Brown, and I could work with somebody like Chris Brown and have an amazing, but like not even expected. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just kind of like
could be with a lot of people.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I just,
Lastly, seeing where you are now,
mm-hmm.
What's the next level for you? Like, what's the next step for you for A1? What's the next step?
For me,
what's the advancement?
For me, it's all about shout out to A3. But it's all about progressing. It's all about progressing. It's all about being automatic. You know what I mean? Kind of taking both of those and being about it. So it's really ultimately just pushing entrepreneurship, pushing just being black owned, pushing no matter what people might say, just sticking to what you believe in You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I live by because like I have kids, I have family I take care of, whatever. So to me, that's
Shout out
something
to
that
them.
shout out to them. So that's something that as as a man, as a father, as a leader, I want to show them that no matter what comes of this, that's you got to push for what you want. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of whether wherever I may go with this, like to me, ultimately it's about just being able to influence and build, you know what I'm saying, and have something that a legacy that, when, God forbid when I'm not here, like people could look back on and say, yeah, he's
And would you shoot that advice for anyone that's doing something for themselves in life?
Yeah,
like anyone that has like their own business?
absolutely.
If you could kick them like the best advice you could give them, you know what I'm saying, as far as like for someone that has their own thing, you know what I'm saying, like we mentioned consistency earlier.
Yeah.
Like if you could tell them one thing, they're listening to you, so they were to take it and make something out of it, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, for one, like I said, don't give in. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be, obstacles. There's always going to be reasons why you can't or shouldn't do it. And to me, none of that really matters. Is if you want to do it. That's all that really matters. If you want to do it, if you love doing it, if you're passionate about doing it, there shouldn't be nothing to nobody that stops you. Only thing that ultimately really stops any of us is us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that's what it's all about. Is just standing on what you stand on, believing what you believe in, and that's really it. Like you gotta be able to inspire others too. I think that's a big thing. Is like
to inspire others. I think that's a big thing.
I think the inspiration, just being able to just knowing that there are people that whether I see it or not, but there's somebody that's watching you.
I was gonna say
somebody that's watching
you
me.
can inspire without even knowing.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So to me, that's more than enough reason to keep pushing and keep going. And like I said, there's other things, consistency. There's your work ethic. There's all that stuff. But to me, ultimately, that's what it. Just don't give in and keep pushing for what you believe in.
Well, that's love. Love what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Likewise, man. I
Best of luck with everything.
I appreciate you having
Keep
me
it
on
going.
this.
Of course,
Appreciate you, man.
Shout out to A1. Also, make sure y'all tap in. Get y'all hoodies, your shirts, Automatic. Anything else you're selling besides the hoodies and shirts?
For now, that's
Right
really
now,
it.
it's
It's just the hoodies and shirts, but
Make sure
I'm gonna expand. Like I said, this is just the beginning.
So make sure y'all go show that support. Man, pleasure to have you.
All right,
Love,
man.
man.